Hi friends, Goddess of Awesome here, and today is Tuesday. I did my boot camp this morning and I made a video for you kind of about that. And then I went for a ride, right? I thought I was going to take out Posy Girl, but you know, when I got out there, Lollipop was like, take me, you know. I kind of still tried to get Posy, but Lollipop was very insistent about being the one. So sometimes when my horses volunteer like that, I absolutely take the one who's asking, right? You know, Lollipop had a deep desire, you know, something in the universe she wanted to get up and do it, you know, so I went with that, you know. So we had a really magical morning just now. So, you know, Lolly, I had done her braids on this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. I think Saturday. And probably could have done her rebraided again, you know. I mean, she's got a little bit of bedhead, but one of her braids had gotten snagged on something, so I definitely redid her braid, right? You know, she's a gorgeous, beautiful queen's horse, and she deserves to be going out looking like the $1,000,000 that she is, you know, $1 million horse. So, you know, Xena's wearing her new shirt today. Not a new one, just a freshly washed one. Xena loves her shirts. You know, today she was in red. Usually I try to put her in a light color when we're at night, like white. Or I have a very light yellow one that she goes on at night. But red is okay for daytime, you know. So we're getting down the path. We could have went a different way. We chose to go this way. And the way we went, we ran into two fabulous photographers who were just smitten with Lollipop. You know, they were so excited to come across us. Isn't it funny or interesting that I put my gems on this morning, you know? So, you know, I let them take a few photographs with my sunglasses on, and I realized, hey, my eyes are pretty today. Let me take my sunglasses off. So I put them up on the rim of my hat, and they just snap, 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 snap. Now, you know what? Lolly is a little bit of a ham. You know, she did a photo shoot with Mark and Jackie Barrett, who are by far, I would say, the top tier, bestest equine photographer out there. They probably shoot other things than equine, but they're really known for equine and Gypsy Vanners in particular, Mark and Jackie Barrett. If you want some great photos or just look at some great photos, you look them up. They're amazing. I think they're on YouTube also. So these photographers, you know, Lolly likes to pose. You know, Lolly will hold a pose for you, her ears forward. You know, she brings it. You know, she's very photogenic. She's just a ham, you know. And they loved her instantly. They're like, oh my God. I mean, she's standing pictures, perfect, completely still, you know, just letting them get what they need. Xena is on the side, you know, on my left side. That's where Xena, that's her placement. Xena's always going to be on the left side. And they were photographing her too. Now, Xena, you know, we don't often get approached by pedestrians. You know, pedestrians don't often come up and want to let them sniff her hand, you know, let her sniff them and be part. So, you know, at first Xena didn't know what to expect, but then she realized it was all in goodness. So she let them sniff her hand and she was with it, you know. Xena is so good in the sense that when things, like, obviously I'm conversing with these people, we have stopped, you know. So Xena just decides to sit. You know, at some point she just sat down for her own decision, and it was beyond perfect. You know, they wanted to get some motion shots, so they went ahead a little bit while I held Lolly back, and then then I started walking with Lolly, and they got some motion shots. And then towards the end, you know, so the photographers' name were Jerry and Mary. I don't know if they're just friends or if they're a couple or anything, but definitely they were work associates, you know, and they each have their own camera, so we got a lot of shots. And so Jerry at some point asked, he's like, hey, do you think your dog would sit right in front of your horse? Which basically is on the other side, you know, her forward left shoulder. And I was like, I don't know, let's see what can happen. So I kind of just tugged the leash a little bit. Freaking Xena's so perfect, right? She goes exactly where the photographer wants her. She goes exactly where my energy is directing her. And what does she do? Sits, right? When, you know, tell her to sit, she sat. Lolly wasn't moving at all, you know. She was happy to stand still and be a subject of photography. And, you know, Jerry and Mary just, you know, like they said, they felt very lucky to have run into us. And I felt very lucky to have run into them, you know. So they're trying to figure out what my breed is, and I tell them, and Jerry pulls out his, you know, goes into some of his images in his camera, and he shows me this gorgeous black Gypsy Vanner with this beautiful red head atop, you know, mounted on top. And I looked at that picture and I said, oh my God, is that Jess? Is that Jess in Eclipse? And he was like, yes. He's like, I just met them last weekend, you know? I mean, the photograph is Jess's hair, you know, she's kind of a redhead, maybe a little auburny, you know, like a deeper red, not a strawberry kind of red or a brighter red. She's kind of got a maybe more auburn, and she's got these beautiful naturally flowing curls in her hair, and she just, to me, she looks like the princess from Brave, you know, Disney's cartoon Brave. And then her stallion is just oozing with just gobs of hair, and the motion picture that they took with his hair flowing like this in the wind, and her hair, and the feather on his, oh, he's got so much feather, this boy. It's very tempting to stand him to my Posy girl. She's got monstrous hair too. I probably would get the hairiest baby ever. Yeah, I'd probably be the next road sweeper, I think. I don't know. We'll have to. There's a few horses out there who are known for gobs of hair. I probably would have a gobs of hair baby if I stood her stallion to my hairy little Posy, you know. But, you know, when he showed me that picture, and when I knew her, you know, I know her. We did a parade together. We traveled together to Norco for the winter parade, you know. I helped haul her stallion. So Posy got a major crush on her stallion during that, you know, they were in the trailer together. You know, that was Posy's first parade this last winter, and you know, it was a lot. There's a lot of action. You know, if you've never checked out Norco, California, it's known, one of its nicknames is Horsetown, USA. And I just jaw-dropped left and right everywhere I looked in Norco. Had the grocery stores, the mini malls, the Rite Aid, like everything there had horse stalls. Like a hitching post, but with a railed stall around it to keep the horses protected in the parking lot. Like you could literally ride your horse everywhere you want to go in Norco. They fully support the equine lifestyle, you know. So, you know, we did that together this winter. So it was just really cool seeing him flash a picture of her to me, because, you know, A, she's just so drop dead gorgeous, you know. Anybody would enjoy seeing a picture of her and her beautiful stallion. They are quite a pair, you know. You can tell they just have this amazing bond, you know. That stallion is very lucky to have Jess. Very, very lucky. And she's very lucky to have him, right? I mean, it's a mutual, beautiful relationship. So, you know, kind of felt like I knew a celebrity there for a minute, you know. Jess, and I texted her just now. I was like, oh my God, I ran into your photographers, and she's like, what a small world. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, what a small world. You know, there's only about 3,000 Gypsy Vanners on U.S. soil right now. You know, obviously that's there's only about 3,000 right now. So, you know, the horse has only been discovered about 22 years ago. It was first found in 1996. By Dennis and Cindy Thompson. When they were out traveling in Europe, they came across this beyond gorgeous horse that took away their breath, and they knew they'd never seen anything like it before. And they were so curious, they had to inquire, and, you know, it took a while for them to acquire that horse. You know, the people who had him knew he was one of a kind, as every gypsy out there is one of a kind, you know. You can't just replace a gypsy. I mean, you could get another one, but, you know, it's like a snowflake. You know, they're all so different, you know, you'll never have a repeat, never. So, you know, the Thompsons, Dennis and Cindy Thompson, who are the owners of Gypsy Gold, that's their barn name, if you want to look up some gorgeous horses, Gypsy Gold, my babes are descendants of Gypsy Gold, right? They brought in the first stallion Well, they brought in the first several horses, right? They brought in a couple stallions, they brought in a couple mares, I believe, in time, you know. And so, you know, the Gypsy King was the first big stallion to bring in. Anyways, it's just a small world, kind of, you know, and you have, when you're in a niche like this, and it definitely is a niche, you know, there's not a lot of people out there who would allow themselves the opportunity to purchase a horse like this. You know, most people would consider it atrocious price-wise, and they wouldn't allow themselves to do that. You know, there's a few of us out there who have just decided that it doesn't matter, they're worth it, we're gonna have our dream horse. Like Jess, you know, when we did the parade last December, she told me a little bit of her story, and she decided she was going to have her dream horse. You know, it's a decision. You know, it seems like mission impossible, you know, to acquire these horses. You know, I don't know how old Jess is, but I'm going to say she's in her 20s, you know. She might be in her late 20s. So to fork out that kind of money when you're a young person, you know, takes a brave soul, takes a daring soul, takes someone who's going to throw caution to the wind and just say, I'm going to have what I want, that's what I want, and I'm going to go for it, you know, that decision. So I understand that decision. I reached a similar place, you know, So we just had the most outstanding ride. So we started with a mini photo shoot that probably was 15 minutes or better, you know, got all of our contact information swapped so we can find each other. I told them if they're looking for some more subjects, I got some other gorgeousness, I got some lusciousness in the backyard here. I call my herd, my nickname for my herd is the Lusciouses. I call them the Lusciouses because each and every single one of them is extremely luscious, you know. So that's just happened this morning. You know, Xena and I went up a trail. I felt a little okay taking her off the leash at this time of day because, you know, it's a time of morning where sometimes we don't see people during that hour. Some of the girls that ride around town, I saw them at their barn, right? We were in front of their barn when all this was going on. So I knew we might not run into them, you know, and there is one trail, it's a little steeper. It's kind of, you know, not a lot of people do it. So that's the trail we did. You know, Xena, while she was on a leash, a squirrel got really close. I mean, so close it just stayed there, and Xena got to come up on it and sniff it really good, and, you know, of course, went up the tree, but it didn't go far. I mean, Xena could still try to sniff it, so she got to chase some tail today, some squirrel tail. And then when we got up the hill, I took her off the leash and remounted my Lollipop, and then I seen a little rabbit, you know. Xena seen it too, and whew, there she went. Now for a second I thought, oh God, you know, how far is she going to chase this rabbit for? And then quickly it came in, that rabbit is not dumb. It's not going to stay in plain sight. It's going to jump into the brush, right? And that's exactly what happened. So Xena went into the bush, you know, and then within a second, boom, she's coming back looking at me, because Xena always wants to make sure where I am, right? She doesn't want to ditch me. That's not any part of the space in her brain. She does not want to ditch me. She doesn't want to lose me. You know, she's got a job. She's supposed to chaperone the horse. She's supposed to chaperone me. You know, Xena's a guardian, and she loves to be a guardian. She loves it. Reminds me of The Rise of the Guardians. Xena's qualified for that. Xena could be a guardian like that. She absolutely is a guardian of the unicorns. 100%. She's the guardian of unicorns and alicorns, you know. So we did an amazing ride. You know, Lollipop was full of piss and vinegar last night, some high octane rocket fuel, you know, she was spending last night because she hadn't been out for a little bit. I've been gone for a month. You know, I have a big space and they can walk around and stuff. Nobody is in a stall. All my horses are in a herd type situation. Nobody sits in a stall or stands in a stall. They all walk around and do things, you know. I learned that importance from the Sonnet Gypsy Ranch. Now that's actually who I purchased my beautiful Athena from, and my darling Katie girl, my lovely fair Katie. are children of the Sonnet Gypsy Ranch, who has impeccable high standards, which I completely resonate with, right? I speak that language too. The similar things are extremely important to me, you know. So it was Kathleen, you know, who encouraged me to get all my horses out of stalls, you know, put them all together. She also has a wonderful feeding system. If anybody out there has horses, you know, horse is not supposed to stand and eat. They're not supposed to stand in one spot and eat their whole meal. You know, in the wild, a horse, you know, they graze, they take a few steps, and then they take a bite. They take a step, they take a bite. They may stand there for a second, then they're going to take another step or couple or a few, and they take a bite. So, you know, Sonnet Gypsy Ranch encouraged me to feed my horses. Like, I throw a flake all sorts of places, you know. They're always moving around and trading off from what flake they're eating. That's extremely healthy. That helps the gut stay healthy. It helps your horse hopefully not ever colic. You know, it's a little more closer to nature, what they would do in the wild. So that's all good stuff, you know. So Sonnet Gypsy Ranch, I'd consider them a third generation Gypsy Gold family, right? Sort of. I mean, she rides the line of a third and second generation because she's also directly dealing with them too. So it was Gypsy Gold, and then Stillwater Farms, and then Sonnet Gypsy Ranch, and then me, right? I'm number 4 from on that totem pole going down, you know. So I have a child of King William. Look him up, Gypsy Gold. Oh, King William is gorgeous, beyond gorgeous. His neck, probably one of the most impressive necks I've ever seen on a gypsy, let alone a stallion, you know. So he's the father of my Katie girl, Fair Katie. Her daddy is King William. So that's kind of a, I don't know if that's why I would almost say she's almost a second generation, you know, Gypsy Gold family too. And then my beautiful Xena is, her sire is Deja Blue. And Deja Blue comes from Stillwater Farms. But Deja Blue is a child of the Gypsy King, you know, who is the original horse brought in from the Thompsons, who are Gypsy Gold, you know. So I have some royal bloodlines in my barn. My Lollipop, she's got some amazing bloodlines too, as does Posy Girl. They come from the most reputable, one of the most reputable barns in Ireland, you know. Now Lolly was born on U.S. soil, but her parents are both, you know, from that amazing barn in Ireland. And Posy Girl was actually born on Ireland, in the Emerald Isle. Posy comes from the Emerald Isle. She was born, you know, on Irish soil at that phenomenal barn. So I'm super duper lucky and fortunate to have come across these amazing horses who are connected to an amazing lineage of Gypsy Vanner history, right? That's what I'm playing with. That's what's in my barn. And the standard for that, I'm going to keep that up, right? I have the best. If I ever breed them, when that day comes, they will only be bred to the best of the best to create the best of the best, furthering the dream that Gypsy Gold knew was necessary. Was, you know, they're not just breeding for any horse, they're breeding for the perfect horse, you know, with perfect conformation. Stillwater Farms has that high standard as well as Sonnet Gypsy Ranch. I'll do a video on Sonnet Gypsy Ranch all by themselves because they deserve it. They're remarkable, and I would highly suggest, if you were in California or the west end of the United States and you don't want to have to, you know, trailer your horse clear across, you know, from the East Coast or the upper Midwest, you know, if you're looking for a nearby gypsy, then I would highly consider Sonnet Gypsy Ranch. They're in Alpine, California, which is like the mountainy area of San Diego. You know, they're not far at all if you're in Southern California. you know. So that's what just happened, and I wanted to make you this video to let you know that I just had an amazing morning. You know, it started out with an amazing workout with Hercules. We did boot camp, and you know, and then Lollipop volunteered. I honestly thought I was taking out Posy Girl, and Lollipop was like, me, you know, so I went with her. And then we came across these amazing photographers, you know, and they happened to have already photographed my dear soul who's in the gypsy world. You know, we're all family. Everyone who has one of these horses, even though some of us may not know one another yet, we will in time. There's not that many of us out there who are playing with this kind of caliber of horse, you know. So I'm feeling really blessed and extremely fortunate. I feel like I am absolutely on the right path, you know. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm so excited to be sharing my world with you, my life, you know, my things that I know about. That's what I want to do. I want to, you know, if anything, you know, help inspire you to reach for your dreams, you know, to make the impossible a reality, because it can be. You know, the only thing that limits us in our world is this. It's this. The brain, the mind, right? That's the only roadblock that we're dealing with. And that might seem crazy when you're in a hardship and you have a lot of turmoil in your life. I totally get it, you know. But it really, truly does just take a decision to do something different, right? To make a change, to try something new, to put your neck out there, to be bold, to be brave, you know, to throw caution to the wind and say, I can have it. If I want it, I can have it, you know? It's mine. That's what I did with my Xena, and I did it with my Lollipop too. I'm going to make a video on just Lollipop. Her barn name is, you know, well, her barn name is Lollipop. Her registered name is Rosewater Chamomile, and she manifested into my life as a complete miracle. She's a miracle child, 100%. To be able to pull that off was a huge risk that I took. You know, it's important to take risks in life. Now, not just any kind of risk. You want to take a calculated risk. If you're going to take a risk, it should be somewhat calculated, right? Now, when I went for Lollipop, I knew I may not be able to, I didn't know if I was fully going to be able to pay her off, you know, as quickly as I had hoped. You know, I did. I absolutely did. Again, a miracle. Absolute miracle horse. You know, she is with me by no mistake. You know, the universe created this perfect situation for her to come into my life, and I am ever grateful. I can never say how grateful I am to be able to have her. You know, there's no one out there like her. No one. I try not to look at horse ads anymore because I'm obviously a fiend, you know. So I try to cut myself off, you know, from just, you know, very particular ideas of things. I definitely would love one of every color. I don't think that sounds crazy. I don't think that's unreachable. You know, at some point I will have one of every color I desire, you know, but I'm not going to go beyond nuts with it and have a million of them, you know. I mean, I have to be able to ride what I have, right? I have to be able to sustain their exercise regimens, you know. So anyway, so that's what just happened today. I'm going to cut this video out. I'm going to do some nutritional videos for you here in a second. I'm going to share some secret weapons with you. And then I'll be back. So, Goddess of Awesome here. Thanks for being with me today. Bright blessings and be well.